All right, well, good morning and welcome. I'm both humbled and honored that so many of you would join me this morning to learn more about VanEck, and we are going to touch on VanEck, but take a specific deep dive into our latest Web3 innovation, that being Segment.io. I'll cover some of the features. I have a short 5-minute demo video, and we're going to close out with a POAP. I know you've probably grabbed 6,000 this week. This is going to be the best one, and I hope to make a case for that. By way of background, again, my name is Matt Bartlett. I'm head of Web3 at VanEck. Technically, my title is head of NFT community in Web3, but as you could tell, it's a lot of buzzwords from 2 years ago. I'm trying to shorten it. VanEck's been around since 1955. We're a US-based asset manager out in New York. Manage close to $90 billion in assets under management. We're best known for giving investors exposure to things like international markets, emerging markets, gold as an asset class, and even ETFs as investment vehicles. So what does all of that have to do with digital assets? Well, some of you may also know that back in 2017, we were the first ETF shop to file for a Bitcoin-linked ETF, and that dream came true just last month. But in between all that time, we've built out a robust digital assets team. We've launched several products and investment solutions, domestically, international, some private. And some of you may even remember that back in May of 2022, we were the first global asset manager to launch our very own NFT collection, the VanEck Community NFT. We had 1,000 assets that we put on Ethereum. We used Unreal Engine 5. You can't tell here because the images are static, but believe it or not, we had over 50,000 people sign up for this, and a big reason why is that it was free. But it also had great utility. So community members were invited to the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ for a few events where they got to ring the closing bell. Certainly unique, a very solid utility indeed. What does all of this have to do with Segment? Well, when Jan VanEck, our CEO, changed my role to this head of Web3 position, he had a vision for me to help build out the firm's crypto-native capabilities. And if you know anything about Jan VanEck, he's extremely intelligent, certainly a leader in our industry. He had ideas for things like tokenizing gold, and we researched stablecoins. But ultimately, he said that if I came up with a good idea, if it was compelling enough, he would support it and we could build it. What he didn't know is that I really am an NFT degen. So I had to do something with non-fungible tokens. I also wanted to deliver something for our community. And so I kind of put on the hat of, what are the problems in the space? What do we all encounter as Web3 participants? I started thinking about things like, how can I share ownership of an asset with my friends, that we maybe couldn't afford otherwise by ourselves? But wait a minute, what if these friends are my Discord pals? So I don't really know them. So now we're thinking trustless shared ownership, right? Well, this line of thinking got me to look into fractionalization. And sort of in my research, I found that all of the current fractionalization platforms that exist today all suffer from at least one of these three issues. First, they're custodial in nature. Here's your fractions. We're going to take your asset. Well, what does that mean? Well, no more airdrops, no more token-gated whatever, no more mint opportunities. You've lost it. Second, ERC20, it's not usually associated with a visual representation. It's hard to flex, hey, I own 50 tokens out of 1 million from some asset. I can't really show you what it looks like. And by the way, 1 million tokens, is it very likely that you're going to go out 6 months later and buy all 1 million back to get your asset? No, it's essentially burned. And then lastly, some want you to add liquidity in the form of ETH or USDC so that your tokens have a trading pair. Well, if I'm trying to get 100,000 out, I don't want to add additional liquidity, right? So none of these are ideal, but they form the genesis of what Segment is today through a concept that we call the lock and key model, and it's simpler than it looks. So you have a Web3 wallet, that's in blue. You own let's say a valuable piece of digital art. So you come to Segment, you create a digital vault where you lock the asset, and at the same time you do, you create Segment keys. Now, the keys are ERC 1155, but what you really need to know is that they're just fungible clones of whatever you've locked in the vault. But they're called keys because you need to own them all in order to unlock the asset for transfer. So in this way, they represent a form of shared ownership, of shared access. So what is Segment? It's a self-custody platform with a focus on security and shared ownership. For security, we've taken these vault contracts that we've come up with, beefed them up a bit. We have our own multi-sig wallet tool that we call Segment Safes. For shared ownership, you could bring your ERC 721s, your 1155s, even ERC 20s, and you can create keys, but take the NFT-backed keys and trade them on Segment's closed exchange. So bottom line, if you're the vault creator, there's no additional liquidity needed. You maintain control of your airdrops, your mint opportunities, everything through our integration with delegate.xyz. If you are the buyer of the key, of course you get that low-cost entry point. You get the visual of the asset, and you could request delegated access as a consumptive utility. So in our mind, it's a win-win. But I could only tell you so much. I've got a 5-minute demo video. If I could ask the team in the back to play the video for me. I'm just going to do a light voiceover, and I'll kind of explain these features. So we'll wait for that to happen. Maybe I do have to tell you what it looks like. Two seconds. All right. Oh, here we go. Okay. So what can you do on Segment? You can mint an NFT. This is typical. It looks like Manifold or OpenSea. Upload an image, add a name, create a collection, add a description. You could add traits. Well, Matt, it looks like everything else. What's the differentiator? Well, we've integrated Mintangible.io's IP toolkit. If you're a creator, you can embed terms of use as a stamp in the metadata, whether personal use or commercial use. So what does that mean? Well, can you take the artwork, print it out, and put it on a t-shirt and sell it, or could you put it in your token frame and enjoy it at home? Now buyers know what they could do with your token. Creating an NFT is free on Segment. You just pay your gas. Next up, we talked about beefing up the vault contracts and having this multi-sig wallet tool. Sorry that it's cut off on the top left, but here's how it works. Add your signatories. These could be hot wallet addresses. These could be friends and family. Maybe you're in a small DAO. Set your safe quorum, your majority threshold needed to approve transactions, and then create your safe. It's done in less than a minute. Why are we offering this? Well, we want to protect our NFT community. If you have a multi-sig with at least 3 signers and a majority threshold, if later on you click on a malicious link and you're like, oh no, it's a drainer, it's okay. Come back to Segment, add a new wallet as a signer, remove the compromised one, and all of your assets are secure. Segment safes are free. Just pay gas. And you'll see here, it's going to show where you add and remove the signers. Okay, next up, we're going to put the lock and key model to work. We're going to create keys. So you're going to choose the NFT you want to create fractions of, create keys of. Remember, you are creating a vault, so you can name that vault if you want. You can create your keys up to 100. We want you to be thoughtful. It's not a million. You could add a description. And then you have 2 transactions. One's to allow Segment to be able to create keys from your NFT, and the second one is to actually vault the asset, create the keys. Creating keys is free. So now you're thinking, Matt, everything's free. How are we making money? If you trade the keys, it's a 1.5% trading fee. It's kind of in line with what you might find on Magic Eden, OpenSea, and others. So we're going to go to the vault, and here you can see vault details, what's in the vault, vault assets, what's the contract, who owns it, how many keys. You could manage your delegations, but you want to sell. First thing you have to do is set terms. So we set market terms, and there's 2 types: free market, buyout market. I'm going to go slow here because it can be complicated. You have, let's say, 5 keys, and you want to sell them at 1/8 a piece. So you sell them. 6 months later, you're like, oh, I really want that key back. I want all those keys back because the asset shot up. So you start buying them back. Well, the last person's holding the last key hostage for 50 ETH. Guys, that's free market. It stinks. We recommend buyout market. There you could set a buyout price that only you could pay as the vault creator to buy out the entire collection per key. The reserve price is what everyone else can pay per key to buy out the collection. So think of it as like buy it now on eBay, right? So we're going to set these market terms. All right, so now we're going to list. We're going to do 2 quantities. A quantity of 1 at 0.001 ETH. We're on Sepolia testnet, so we're using funny money anyway. I know that sounds cheap. We're going to do another one at 0.0012, so just slightly more expensive. Notice that these are gasless to list. It would cost you gas to delist and unlock your vault. Okay, now you'll notice at the top, you own 10 out of 10 keys. What we're going to do is switch wallets as though we're another user, and so you can kind of see what the perspective is of a potential buyer. That will then drop to 0 out of 10 keys. And now as the potential buyer, you could review listings. You'll see all of them listed. We only have 2, the cheapest one's at the top. And in this case, the user doesn't want to mess around. He's recognized that the floor price of the asset shot up 1,000%. There's a little bit of an arbitrage opportunity. I'll pay the premium and just buy out the whole collection, right? And so that's what they're going to do now. And then it will jump to 10 out of 10 keys in just a moment. And from there, you can unlock the vault. What are you really doing? You're unlocking the vault, burning the keys. You're taking transferable ownership of the asset. What else can you do on Segment? That's free. I know free is important. I've been hearing a lot about token-gated chats. You can build a token-gated chat, create 20 keys, share them with your friends. You'll see it in a moment. We've integrated walletchat.fun. Have your own private chat channel. Enjoy. To incentivize sort of onboarding, we're having a free claim of an NFT adventurer character you'll see here. You'll claim this character, you'll complete quests. We've sort of gamified the whole experience. You'll accrue XP at the top. You could redeem for on and off-chain items. You could level up your character if you're into like World of Warcraft and stuff like that. By the way, we've built an entire immersive game. This is on portals.2 on the Solana blockchain. Enjoy more quests, run around, have fun, get lost, chat with AI-enabled NPCs, earn additional XP when you come back to the platform. Do it if you want to, it's just for fun. So if I could ask the team to put up the PowerPoint one more time. You're the best. All right. So as promised, this is the POAP. Here's why it's special. And I want to be upfront about this. I don't want you to say Matt didn't tell you. We are a regulated financial services firm. First of all, Segment is a subsidiary of VanEck Europe, which is part of the parent firm, right? And so we are going to require that you KYC if you want to create keys and if you want to use the exchange. If you live in the United States, I'm sorry, you can't use the exchange. I know, it stinks. All right, but if you claim this POAP, you get a very rare character tier, quite rare, and it's only available to the people here right now because that's how POAPs work, right? You have to be in attendance. So it's our way of saying thank you. We really hope that you're part of our community, of our ecosystem. I have no idea what other use cases y'all are going to come up with. I want to hear them. Hopefully they're legal. And it should be fun. But my main ask is that, remember, we built this with you in mind, with people like me in mind, right? Join us. Let's have some constructive sessions. Let's make it work for all of us. On behalf of Segment, on behalf of VanEck, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.